Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Nyanyang Rian from class 3B. In this occasion, I want to review some material from meeting 2 until meeting 7. Subject, language for classroom interaction. For the second asynchronous meeting, I've learned material about classroom interaction prepare. In this material, there are some points about number one, interaction pattern, that is discussion between teacher and learners. The learners give response and the teacher give feedback. Number two, planning for group work. Consider what you want to your student to get out of it. Number three, the benefit of cooperative group work. Number four, disadvantage of cooperative group work. Number 5, classroom procedure. And the last one, number 6, teacher objective and learners activation. Let's move to definition and type of classroom interaction. For definition, classroom interaction, it is social interaction or developed between the teacher and the student in the classroom and examine the relationship between them. And principle, the classroom interaction falls into 10 dimensions of teaching that are linked to student achievement and social development. Emotional support refers to ways teachers help students develop a good and interesting classroom organization. Teachers help students to develop skills to regulate their behavior, get more learning, and maintain the interest. Instruction support, teacher effectively support student cognitive development and language growth. Next, there is objectives of classroom interaction, type of classroom interaction such as collaborative learning, discussion and database, interactive season, loud reading, storytelling, and role play. Next, teacher's role such as passive and crucial, create a learning atmosphere in classroom, interactive season to move learners and motivate them, construct innovative learning, be as friend and advisor, show them their potential. And the last one, we have to interact with student. Okay, move to next slide. The next meeting, asynchronous meeting, and I've learned about recognizing learning strategies. Yeah. In this material, strategies learning consists of mental or behavioral activity related to some specific stage in the overall process of language use. In other words, they can be behavioral or they can be mental using the synonym or situational context to infer the meaning of a new word. Strategies can make learning easier, faster, more enjoyable, more self-direct, more effective, and more transferable to new situations. Learning strategies are divided into 3 types: cognitive, metacognitive, and socio-affective. Cognitive repetition of material that has been studied last week, simplify the meaning using figure of speech to facilitate memorization. And metacognitive, expression before the lesson, during the lesson, and after the lesson. Socio-affective helps students wallow in learning and motivate students. Okay, next meeting is asynchronous meeting, and I've learned some material about teacher task, teacher skill, and assignment. First, there are teacher tasks. Teaching doesn't just involve the relationship we have with student. Of course, as a professional teachers, we are also asked to perform certain tasks. Has 3 points, that is preparation, keeping recording, and being reliable. And number 2, there are teaching skills is the important component to support learning activities and have providing they are managing class, matching task and group, variety, and destination. And the last one, there are teaching knowledge. Teachers need to know a lot about the subject they are teaching, such as language system, material and resources, classroom equipment, keeping up to date. Okay. Next meeting, asynchronous meeting, and I've learned material about teacher talk. There are the type of question in teacher talk. Number one, procedural question. Can begin class with question, how are you today? Or have you read some material? And number two, there are convergent question. If you as a teacher give the task related to story, you just ask them what the important title about this story, or you can add yes or no question like is story includes of narrative text. And number three, divergent question. Divergent question, you can give some question such as how you feel after read this story, or can you relate this story or moral message to your life. Okay, next move to next slide. There is a meeting asynchronous, and I've learned about how to teach English language using the voice. Most important instrument for a teacher is voice. There are three issues to think about it. Number one, audibility. Teacher does have to shoot the audible voice because the rasping shoot is always unpleasant and teacher don't speaking too softly. And number two, variety. As a teacher, we have to use loud voice because speaking quality is regularly an equally effective way to get student attention. And number three, conservation. Teacher have to breathe properly and relax. Okay, next slide. There is case 3. I choose case 3. You will attend to the either face-to-face or online classes. What you need to prepare, the facilities, and your self-viewpoint. Because now is still in a pandemic situation, of course, the all activities are carried out online, including teaching and learning activities in all of education sector. As a prospective teacher, I have to be able to adapt to conditions like this, so the material present will still be well received by students. Therefore, in order to the online learning system are going according to plan, I, as a prospective teacher, have to prepare and provide proper facilities for students. One of them, I have to prepare before teaching. Preparation for making writing plans that containing operational learning objective or materials from of teaching and learning activities, method use, times, learning tools, and evaluation. Of course, all this preparation I made in the lesson plan. In lesson plan, I describe the steps that will be used in the teaching and learning process. This is a guide for me to give lesson, so they are more systematic and planned in order to achieve the learning objective to the maximum. In preparing lesson plan, it can make easier for me to remember important things in the learning process and subject matters, so I can easily determine a good and appropriate method during the learning system. Number 2, prepare learning media. To make it easier for students to understand learning and attract student attention, to stimulate cognitive, affective, and psychomotor student. Number 3, prepare and study subject matters before teaching. It is very important for me to understand and master the learning material that will be taught in order to be able to maximum teaching. Besides that, by mastering the subject matters, I will also feel confident in teaching, so it can increase my confidence. And number 4, I also have to determine the approach, model, and strategy in teaching. When I'm choosing this method, I will adjust to the material and characteristic of the student being taught, because if it's not suitable to apply all of this method to the classroom, the learning process will not take place systematically. In addition, if the method we use has a variety of unique features, it can generate motivation and interest in student learning, so the learning process becomes more lively and enthusiastic. Example of method that are often used are the individual method, doing experimental assignment for student, and the classical method, lecture and demonstration. And the last one, maybe I have to understand student character. To know and understand the character of student can be done with a personal approach, interviewing and asking personal question and providing solution when there are difficulties. As I know that every student has different characters, if we know what them characters like, I can determine the right strategy in teaching. Next slide. The process of teaching and learning activities. Maybe one of the facilities for online teaching and learning activities is that as prospective teacher, I have to be able to use technology as a learning media. Because I'm required to do online learning, of course I have to be able to use technology media well. There are several technological media that can be used in the online learning process. This is things as obligation for me because the technology media can use in order to media that has been delivered can be well received by student. I also find it easier when I want to give assignment by using some of the available media technology. Next, maybe provide link meeting Zoom for implementation of teaching activities with use of the Zoom application. As a facilitator, I can do of online learning between teachers and students even though they are face-to-face in virtual world that is directly connected to the internet. The reason why I choose the Zoom application for learning activities is that the excellent feature present in the Zoom application can make it easier for me to implement online learning. Zoom having a large of meeting room capacities, the videos product are good quality. Student can easily join the group meeting of camera feature and breakout room. In this feature, the teacher can divide student into small group. And next, number 3, give the material that I have summarized from of PowerPoint. This is one of my effort to improve the learning process to become it is effective and functional. So media learning is very important to utilize. The use of media in the learning process is intended to enhance student digestibility of the information or learning material provided. So, students are able to remember and understand the material that I provide through the help of learning media properly. Because of PowerPoint is an application that I use to deliver material, I can make students can easily understand. In addition, I hope the students are also able to think actively in the learning process by give some question arise from student about the material they do not understand in the learning process that I provide. This gave me insight to improve and update my strength and weakness in teaching. And number 4, maybe provide some references material in order to student can explore more material than what I teach. It's application they can use the internet to browse various sources of information and references related to the material I provided. Yeah, they can make references information from various sources such as blog, website, handbook, or journal. The existence of references is so prioritized, used a companion for students in developing their own thinking power. Without a research of information, students will find it difficult to learn both in class and independently. So, keyword to find references become the main handle for students. In addition, references also can use as a media that can make it easier for me to convey and develop some material. Okay, and Next, maybe I provide room tasks of the material that has been delivered can be understood by learners and they can write it down in assignment I provided. I give the assignment with the aims to increasing student learning motivation not only at school but also for at home. The task included in the learning method because it is believed to effective teaching tips. During the assignment given, student can become more disciplined to study independently. But if the tasks given are too many, it also has the potential to increase stress and cycle fatigue. And next, maybe I provide a value from student work to make them motivated and more enthusiastic in learning. This means if we prefer we pro if I provide good feedback, there will be encourage from within student to achieve learning goals such as understanding the material or develop learning with the motivation given by the teacher. Student will always be enthusiastic to the continue learning without any courses from any party. Okay, maybe that's all the presentation from me. More and less, forgive me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.